This morning when I woke up, I opened my phone, saw a headline. Teacher spends $150,000 of his own money to send 6 boys to uni. Who is this teacher? Who is Frankie Yee? What do you do?
Yes, I have been teaching for the past 27 years. I started off teaching in a secondary school as a relief teacher. Then I went on to teach in various private institutions in Singapore. At one stage, I was heading a business school, a private school in Singapore.
This possibly could be the greatest way you've ever offered help. You have spent $150,000 of your own money, okay, to send 6 boys to uni. Tell me about these boys and why did you decide to take a chance on them?
What happened was, I think fate brought us together. I was teaching in a school and these 6 boys were studying there. They came from a country in Central Asia and one of the poorest countries in the world based on GDP per capita income. So what happened was that they actually came to Singapore to complete their bachelor's degree in a private institution. So the 6 of them actually came from this country, the same country, and they became very good friends. And they live together, eat together, work together, play together in Singapore, study together. So I saw their plight because these guys, they had to work like an average about 10 hours a day in the various restaurants and hotels. And on Saturday and Sunday, they have to work an average of about 17 to 18 hours a day. And sometimes they don't even get to go home. They will just, sleep in the locker room in the hotel or at the bus stop. And then what happened here is that the next day they will continue working. You see, the problem is that they need to save enough money to pay for their school fees and at the same time send money back home.
Were there no avenues for scholarships or anything like that, or bursaries where they could get some sort of financial assistance?
You see, the problem is that they are not local students, you see. So normally bursaries and scholarships will be given to local students and they are not enrolled in the public institutions. They are enrolled in the private institutions, which predominantly are profit-driven. So they don't normally give scholarships here. So what happened here is that I saw how they struggle. What caught my attention was I saw them eating waffle every day for lunch. And one day I just asked them, do you really like the waffle in this cafe? And they say, oh, this is what I can afford. Because the waffle costs about $120. And then they would go and work in the restaurants in the evening because food will be provided. So I actually saw their plight. And while they were studying in that school, one of the students was not able to afford to pay the school fees. So he was not allowed to gain his access to the learning management system, we call it the LMS, was blocked. So he told me that he owed the school about $500 and if he was not able to pay that $500, he will probably need to drop out from the school. So I then decided to just help him to pay the $500 so that he could continue to study. So over a period of time, the 6 boys became very close to me. They talked to me very often. And in spite their difficulties, the challenges that they face in Singapore, these 6 students actually pass all the modules. They have to spend so much time working and they can still do well in their studies. So when they spoke to me, I said, okay, why don't we try to go and get you into a proper Australian university? It need not be the top university. So I brought them to IDP in Singapore, the 6 of them. And on the spot, I actually told this boy whom I think is the smartest, I said, why don't you try University of Sydney, which is one of the top universities in Australia. So he tried, submitted his transcript. He actually got in.
Wow.
Then the second boy also tried. Because there was another boy that I told him, if you want to study international relations and political science, then University of Sydney will be a better university. So he tried and then he decided to submit his application and he also got in based on the results that they got from the private institutions in Singapore. So all the 6 boys were accepted by various universities in Australia. Then came the payment. What happened was that, Tim, to be honest with you, at first I thought that I would be able to raise some money for them. Of course, to ask somebody to give me $600,000 is not possible. Probably I was too overconfident because in my lifetime, I've actually helped quite a number of students who have gone on to become very successful in life. So I thought maybe their company could sponsor $50,000. So if I could get 5 to sponsor $50,000 each, then probably I'll be able to get $250,000.
Yeah.
And that would settle the tuition fee for their first year. Then they will go to Australia, and then they will work in the first year to save up money for their second year and their third year. I am very confident because I saw how they work in Singapore. These guys, they actually have a very strong, fighting spirit, and their survival instinct is very strong. So I know for sure that they will be able to make it in Australia. All they needed was one chance to go to Australia for the first year.
Right.
So I spent a good 3 to 4 months going around asking people for money. I've never been so brazen in my life, to be honest with you, asking people for money. And it was not even for myself, it was to help these 6 students. But I got a lot of rejections. And in the end, I raised nothing. So round about the time, I think it was in April, the university letter of offer came and we need to pay. And I decided to do it on my own. So I literally empty my savings account because I promised them that I will help them to go for at least the first year. So I told myself, okay, all I wanted was to give them a fighting chance in life. And I kept on telling myself that I am not helping 6 boys. I'm actually helping 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. Because if the 6 boys succeed, they make it, their children will have a better life. Their children's children will also have a better life. So that was what caused me to want to help them.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that I did it. Honestly, I'm glad I did it. Yeah.
It is an incredible story, like I mentioned. So based on my understanding of what I've read, $150,000 of your own money, is that going to be sufficient to cover all 6 boys for their first year in university?
It should be able to cover their tuition fee, but in Australia, I'm sure you have been there, 1 plate of chicken rice is $15,
Yeah.
So they need to work very hard for their food and also accommodation. Now property price is so high.
Yeah.
So they need to earn enough money to actually pay for their accommodation.
So the question I have is, you are almost 60 years old, that I understand.
Yes.
Okay, this is the time where teachers kind of, they wind down, they look to retire. You pretty much wiped out your retirement plans, okay? So now no retirement home, savings all depleted. Where is your nest egg? What are you falling back on, Frankie?
I'm still active. I can still continue to teach. I believe I will be able to teach beyond 65 years old, so I got a good 10 years to go. I hope that I will be able to buy the house again. Save enough money to buy the house in Malaysia and retire there. Now, I'm not too sure if all the 6 will remember to come back, but out of the 6, I'm pretty sure at least 1 will remember, at least 1 will remember. And because I'm really very close to them, and I actually believe in them. I actually believe in them because I've spent a lot of time with them.
Right.
And I know that they are very grateful because now they are all given this chance. To break through the vicious cycle of poverty in their own home country.
Like a superhero in every story, right? They always got something that happened in their lives that kind of, imbued this characteristic in them, right? So I'm wondering, where did you develop this mentality to want to help other people? Did someone, when you were growing up, show you this same kind of generosity, that now you have decided to pay it forward? Where did this come from?
I think it is probably because I've been teaching for so many years and I've been spending a lot of time with a lot of young people. And I always believe in this, that young people, if we give them a chance, they will be able to do well. If as a lecturer, if I don't give them the chance, then who will?
And your hope for the boys that you're helping?
Yes.
What are your hopes for them?
I just want them to succeed. I told them that, not many people in their country will be given this chance. And they left their country with just a dream of having a better life. Last year, this time, none of the 6 boys would imagine that they could one day end up in one of the top universities in the world. So I managed to place 2 boys there. And when I sent them off at the airport, I actually told these 2 boys, you need to study hard because not many people in the country will be given this opportunity. So I believe that all the 6 boys will succeed. So I actually told them that in 3 years' time, they will suffer, of course, in Australia. They will definitely suffer. They will struggle, but I told them that now you know that your dream is within reach. So don't give up. And I told them that I will be with them for the next 3 years. And we will hold our hands together, and one day we will cross the finish line together.
One Way Home with Tim O on 1FM 91.3.